Joining us to react, member of the Senate Health Committee, Senator Roger Marshall, who has practiced medicine for over 25 years. Senator, great to see you, sir. I want to talk about the COVID vaccine for a second. So back in November of 2020, I wrote a column about why I didn't get the COVID vaccine. There was a more than 1,000-fold difference in mortality between the young and the old. So why did we take that approach from the beginning of forcing this vaccine on people who really never needed it to begin with?
You know, that's a great question for Dr. Fauci and the CDC people, many of whom are suddenly quitting as well. But let's stay focused on what Secretary Kennedy's goal is here. It's to restore trust in the CDC. And I think it's great for America to see this being openly debated. And it's not black or white. The science is not settled. I think the COVID vaccine, to your point, the same advice I would give to my parents was not what I gave to my grandchildren as well. Look, these vaccines are drugs. People die from this vaccine, and on the other hand, it saved millions of lives. When it was first introduced, it was a novel virus. We had no immunity to it. But today, most of us have had COVID 5 or 10 times. We have pretty good immunity to it. So it's a different day. It's a different time. This is a drug. And I think that what Secretary Kennedy wants to do is empower you, the patient, with world-class information, and you and your doctor decide on each one of these vaccinations which one's right for you and your family and especially your children.
Well, honestly, I don't know if the government will ever, in my lifetime anyway, get back the reputation it once had, because you used to be able to kind of take that information to the bank. But I think you're right. What not only Kennedy, but all the people at the FDA, Marty Makary and so forth, they really are trying to get that relationship between the patient and the doctor as the main relationship that you need to make decisions for yourself, not dictated by the government. But there's another issue here which Kennedy wants to get at, and that's the whole issue of the pharmaceutical companies and their relationship with people like you, with the doctors, and of course their relationship with the government, with the CDC and everything, because they were pushing drugs. We now have a clear idea of the way in which they were pushing drugs, some of which maybe hadn't been tested the way they should have been tested. The acceptable risk factor of a lot of these drugs had not been put to the test as deeply as they should have been. They were given a pass with the pandemic, and we don't want that pass to continue. Are you satisfied that we're trying now to really look into the role of the pharmaceuticals, not just with doctors, but also with the government?
Well, we're getting there. I would be much happier if Big Pharma was not allowed to advertise any on national TV. I think that creates problems for us alone. Secretary Kennedy, that's the reason he fired all 17 people that were previously on this ACIP committee, is he felt they potentially had a conflict of interest. One of the reasons he fired Dr. Moneris, who was the recent CDC director, is that she fired the person in charge of identifying conflicts of interest as well. So the swamp is deep up here, David. We've got work to do as well. But again, this is Secretary Kennedy's goal, is to eliminate this conflict of interest.
Well, we also ignored natural immunity during COVID as well, which I just wanted to get that in. But, you know, Senator, you look at the HHS secretary, he's been labeled a lot of things. Obviously, he wants to get to the bottom of autism. He's been called an anti-vaxxer. You've worked in medicine. You're a doctor for over 25 years. Is he an anti-vaxxer?
You know, absolutely not. I'm not sure how many times he needs to say and that I need to say we're in favor of the MMR vaccine. We're in favor of the polio vaccine. We're in favor of the DTaP vaccine. And it's great to see this committee say, look, the MMRV vaccine, which is varicella chickenpox added to the MMR, causes febrile seizures. It's well known to do that. So they suggested doing those at different times to decrease those. If you've ever had a child or a grandchild with a febrile seizure, I mean, it's 2 or 3 tough days and worried about them as well. So that's why it's good for them to be, fighting this out in person. My friends across the aisle think that the science is settled. The science is never settled. We'll keep learning and keep making new recommendations. But again, we want to empower the patients and the doctor. And what I was taught from the first day of medical school, the value and the sanctity of this patient-doctor relationship.
Yes. Yeah, that is vital. And I'm so glad it's coming back. Doctor, who happens also to be a senator, Roger Marshall. Great to see you, Doctor. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Well,